So are we actually going to do this? Yeah, we are. Let's go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode. And joining me today is your favorite coach and my favorite guest to have on is Cait Blakely. And we are going to talk today about Instagram and the algorithm gods. That's
Yes.
the way I describe them. We've been through a lot with Instagram. We were just talking about our journey and reminiscing on how long it's been since we've been on this platform, and we kind of grew up with it. My first post on Instagram was October 26, 2011, and boy, are things different than when they were then. So, Cait, tell us about how you feel about Instagram.
Yeah. So first of all, you guys know I'm a projector and an introvert. So you may have heard me say before that I hate Instagram, but I have used it to make sales in my business. And so if you hate Instagram too, then you're going to love this episode because we're going to talk about like how it has been and what's next in Instagram. So,
Yeah, it's a love-hate relationship sometimes with social media platforms. They're all on the list of sometimes I love them, sometimes I don't. But one of the things that we really want to talk about on this episode is just really how to move with the changes, because here's the truth is the platforms are free. Yes, you can pay to play, you can pay for ads, but it is a free tool for the most part that we can use to build our businesses. So how awesome is that? And they're going to, of course, make the platform the best for their business. They're not keeping in mind your specific business and how to make you successful, but they do want you to be successful because that means you're going to have you're going to come back and you're going to be on the platform more. So there is at the underlying level, Meta, TikTok, YouTube, all of these platforms do want you to be successful. You just have to learn how to play with them. So I was thinking it'd be fun to just talk about what Instagram was like when we first got on it and how it's changed because it's been
yeah,
a journey.
let's take a trip down memory lane because I remember back in the day when Instagram literally first came out before Meta even bought it, my husband came to me and he's like, look at this app. It's just people sharing like beautiful photos of their life. And we were putting up photos of like, we have a farm. So we were like taking pictures of our pigs and our donkeys and putting them on Instagram. And there were really cheesy filters. And we were like, look how good this looks with this filter.
I love those filters. That's really why I signed up, because a friend of mine was showing her pictures and she had like this cute vintage filter. And I was like, oh, I love that. And so that's why showed up on Instagram. And so, like, the first however many pictures in my feed are all of my babies because I was in the middle of the baby season of my life, is what I call it. So, toddlers and babies were the whole feed for a while there.
Yeah. And then I remember showing my coworkers who were like younger than me. When I worked in corporate America, I was a manager, and all my people that worked with me were like fresh out of college. And I was showing them my pictures, and they were like, oh God, so cringe that you're using these like sepia filters. You really like those, huh? And I was like, oh, is this not cool?
Oh, yes, we're aging ourselves here. Yeah, but then Meta bought it and it became a part of a plan for strategizing for businesses. And those that adopted early on really got some heavy, heavy juice behind their content for getting promoted into the feed as they were growing that platform and getting more and more people on. And that is when, that first few years of Meta coming in is when the aesthetic feeds were very, very important. So having everything look the same, feel the same, highly branded. The overhead shots, remember those? Like, oh
hmm
my gosh, the styled overhead shots, so big, so important, was intense. And that gave me a lot of anxiety actually, because I'm not a curated feed person. Like, I'm not a curated anything. I'm very eclectic. And so that pressure to make my feed look and match, I was like, oh, this is giving me so much anxiety.
Yeah, I remember I was a social media manager during that time, and that was one of the things that we did was we had like a filter for each account. Like this is the filter, not an Instagram a filter. Like we had our Lightroom filter, we'd go edit the videos,
Yep.
that was that client's filter. But I would have to set expectations because clients would come to me and they're like, well, my niece's wedding planning Instagram is really like really amazing. And look at this mom blog and all these things. And I'm like, those are professional photographers coming in and they're planning content in advance. That is like, if you want that, we have to hire a professional photographer like a few times a month to come in and get some shots of you. And it was just like a very, very different vibe than today's like authenticity that's so much more popular.
Yes, because we went from, just all photos. It was a photo-based platform. And then we introduced carousels. So there was multiple photos. And then it went to lives
Mm-hmm.
because of the craze with what was that one platform? Oh, I just lost.
Not
You know,
Kaleidoscope, the one.
yeah, the other one where everyone was going live, and then Facebook adopted the live in Facebook, and then of course Instagram jumped on that really quickly afterwards. And then from there, it's like more video content became more and more prevalent within that platform. But it used to originally, the original intention was just sharing beautiful photos and content. It was a photo-based platform. And the way you found your people was through hashtags. So what was your hashtag strategy in the past when you first got started?
So when by the time I really got on Instagram for my own accounts and I was using hashtags, what I would do is I would look at my hashtag and I would look for ones that had followers that were not super high and not super low, like somewhere in the middle where my content would show up. Like I could possibly rank number one for a couple of days. And I would keep like I had hashtag. I used to sell banks of hashtags. I'm like, these are hashtags for your mom blog. These are hashtags for your printables. And I would keep mine in my phone and copy them and like rotate them out. Like hashtag strategy was almost more important than the content that you were posting.
Yes, yes, it was for a while. And like you wanted to max out your hashtags. So 30 hashtags on every post.
And then add more in your comments, like as many as you could get.
Yes,
And
exactly.
even, yeah, even now, like sometimes I take on a few social media clients, like locally, my friends or something, and they'll come to me and they're like, can we use this hashtag? Like, it doesn't matter what hashtag you use, my friend, because hashtags don't work anymore, really. So,
Yeah, they do not work the same. I was just listening to somebody from Instagram talking about hashtags, and he's like, you really want to like strategize them, use maybe 3 to 5 at the most, and they want to be very targeted to your if you know your niche, but don't just throw them up for like the hashtag for your for you page or something like that. That's just a waste of space. It's not doing anything for you. So it was just very interesting to see this pendulum swing of you need this and then you need this and it just changes along the way and when even like follower counts and the way things were shown in the feed, it used to be just if I didn't see it, if I didn't follow you, I didn't know anything else exist.
yeah,
So
absolutely. And then there
now
was
it's
that
like,
strategy.
oh, I was just gonna say now it's like anybody, like here's all people you might want to follow and none of the people I actually follow in my feed.
Yeah, that's so funny. That's like that. And I remember when the follow and then unfollow strategy was popular. Did you ever experience that where you get just like requests from all these people, they follow you, expecting you to follow them back because that was what was polite, and then they'd unfollow you because if you had a higher follow count than follower count, it was considered like not a good account. Do you remember that?
Yes, yes, yes. I got followed by a lot of popular business coaches and bloggers back then, and I would follow them to see if they would unfollow me because
You go back in a
I
week
was,
and they're gone.
oh, they're just like, they're immediately gone. I'm like, well, now I'm going to unfollow you because I can see this was just your strategy.
Yeah. There were even apps like you could unfollow 20 people an hour and it would like load them for you and you just hit the unfollow button.
Yep. And then also, we get savvy to things pretty fast. I'm just going to say, like entrepreneurs, especially women entrepreneurs, we pick up on things pretty quickly and then we find a way around the system. So I remember several different versions of ways we were working the system as like entrepreneurs, bloggers, influencers, and virtual assistants, all the things I was doing at back then is we would find these workarounds, whether it's like follow for follow, it was comment for comment, like for like. coming in and engaging with your content. And then it was just like all these twisty little things that we did for each other. But I also love that experience. For one, it helped us with Instagram, of course, but more than anything, it gave me relationships with people. And it really showed me like we really can lift each other up, and supporting another woman's business, even if we're in the same industry, actually helps me.
Yeah, and I feel like I made lifelong friends from that. Like I remember Jeanette, this lady that was in one of the group blogging groups I was in, she's like, "Can anyone go interact on this? And I'll be happy to interact on your stuff." And like we still talk. Like, have you ever heard the term internet aunties? Like we show each other baby pictures of our babies and like we're old cousins or something, but all we ever did was share content for each other.
I love it. I love it. And that's really just, again, just a reminder to how important and impactful it is to support your friends in business with what they're doing. Like that encourage just a like and can encourage you. Just like this is not getting just crickets because it's
Absolutely. Or
discouraging.
yeah, going and commenting on your friends' stuff is such a powerful strategy for them too. Like, especially if you're a little bit organized or if you're going into groups and sharing about each other. This is something we
Mhm.
talked about recently in one of the coaching calls that Lani and I were hosting, where like we teach you a whole marketing strategy and it's great, but you can like super fuel it if you have people working with you that will also help you lift up your content.
Yes, and tag you and tag other people into your content where it's relevant. I mean, there's just so many things. So having that supportive community is super powerful. And I think Instagram has been really working hard to create more community opportunities. They don't have Facebook groups like Facebook does. That group community is really just game changer to have. So Instagram's tried to say like, how can we do that and make people feel like they're in conversation? And that's where stories came in. And that was a whole other thing where we all went crazy, like, oh no, now we have to do stories. Here's the strategy. And we tried to like make it like, okay, what works? And then we'd follow all these gurus who are having success and try to mimic their strategy and exactly what time they were posting, how many times, how like it the hashtags they use, what tools they were using in the stories. It was so crazy how like those little things impacted us.
I remember once I was following an Instagram influencer who has since pivoted to email marketing, but he was like, okay, so for your stories, and this is like in 2017 or 2018, it's a long time ago, but he was like, for your stories, you only need like 70 a day, and this is how you do it. I was like, I threw my phone. I was like, I'm not doing that. That's not for me.
No, stuff. It was a lot. It was very intense and a lot of like that pressure. And I think that's where I came to the point where I had to release the pressure to be consistent. That's where it came from. So whenever I talk about how I throw out the word consistent and I don't use it in my business or in my coaching because it's such a pressurized word because it came from this era of the social media industry where it was like you have to be consistent or it's not worth your time. And that was exhausting because showing up that much was just not sustainable for me. And so I actually like Instagram a lot more right now because it's not necessarily based on consistency. It's based off of value. It's based off of your interactions that you're getting, whether your content is hitting. There's other things that it's basing it off of rather than, oh, this person's consistent with their content. Because it was for a while, the algorithm was based off of that.
Yeah, I remember you were supposed to post 3 times a day. And I had accounts where I did, but I couldn't do it for long. Like, they were like little bloggy accounts. I had a blog about, it wasn't a blog, it was an Instagram, but about like reading books. And then I would affiliate the Amazon links back when you could actually make money that way. And I could do it consistently for like 3 weeks. And then it was like, oh, I would fall off and I wouldn't post one day. And then I would be like, now I can never post again. Like, I
Yes,
guess I'm
that's
done
how
with
it
it.
felt. And that's how it felt. And so the good news is now with Instagram, you can pick it back up at any time and don't worry about it. Just get back in there. And actually, this is interesting enough right now. Instagram is rewarding you for disappearing and coming back. So a group of friends of mine in a mastermind, they did an experiment where they posted one story and then didn't post again for 24 hours. I compared the reach to if they posted stories and just kept, like the continuation where you do them every 5, 6, 10 hours. They've let 24 hours lapse before they posted another story after that first one, more reach when they let more time lapse. which was
Yeah, that's
very
so interesting.
interesting. Yeah.
I love it when entrepreneurs start gathering data and share it with one another because this is something I tell all my clients. I'm like, if you're not watching the data, your brain is going to make up what's happening. Like I hear all the time people come to me and they're like, "Oh, well, nobody wanted this product." Or and I'll look at their data and it's like no one clicked on the link because you didn't share about your product enough. Like that's what the
Yeah.
data says. But you think nobody wants it because your brain is going to make up stories. So I love that like people are coming in and they're testing this and sharing that. Like we love that.
Oh, you just nailed that on the head so strongly. I feel like we could spend a whole other podcast on the stories our brain is making up because we're letting it interpret things without data and making it mean something about us or something about what we've done. That's so powerful. And it's true. I do hear a lot of people saying like, "Oh, well, I don't get anything on Instagram. My people aren't on Instagram." Well, that's the story you're telling yourself to validate the results that you're getting, but it's not that your people aren't on there. I think they're, 100% all of our are on every platform. It's just whether or not we're getting their attention. We know how to find them on that platform. And that's going to bring me to this pivot of how do we find our people on the platform now? Obviously, Instagram original 2011 is not the same as 2025. So, what is working now that you see in Instagram, and how can we leverage it and be of the mindset of let's have fun with it and play with it and pivot with it and grow with Instagram and work within the flow it already is doing to get our best reach. So, what do you feel like is working right now?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And before we jump into like actual strategy stuff, I want to like offer a mindset shift. I think it's always important, like when you're trying new strategies, to come with a mindset shift because you probably already have Instagram's been around a long time. So you probably already have like things ingrained in your brain that you think about Instagram. Like something I hear a lot is like, I hate Instagram. So if we can
Yeah.
replace that thought
Or
with something
like I
cool and
said at the
helpful.
beginning, the algorithm gods hate me. I
Yeah,
hear
the
that so
algorithm
many
does
times,
hate
like the
you.
algorithm hates me. I'm
Like
like,
it's not personal. The algorithm
it
doesn't know
doesn't
you.
care. It
You got to
doesn't
play by the
care.
algorithm's rules.
Yes.
So, the mindset shift that I would offer to you to make, like while you're listening to this podcast episode, is that no strategy is going to last forever. We are always playing the game, even for paid, like even on ads, guys, ads change. We're always playing a game of like what's new and how am I going to keep up with it? And we can choose that that sounds exhausting, or we can choose that it's fun and we'll find the pieces that will make the impact and add them as we go along the way. And we'll gather the data while we go to let go of the things that don't work anymore. So it's okay to set down your hashtag strategy, even if you learned it in 2016 and it was really, really important then. And it's okay to let go of an aesthetic feed, and it's okay to let go of daily reels if they're not getting the reach that they used to. It's okay
Mhm.
to say, take a step back and say, okay, let me see the big picture. What is working now? What can I let go of that I thought was something that was important for Instagram that's not?
I love that. And it's so important before you jump into a strategy just to release all the pressure of it, to say, I'm going to have fun testing out and see what works for me. I was, again, this morning thinking about the conversations that I've had recently with some of our clients, and just we talk to them all the time. Don't hold so tightly that this one post is going to bring you $1 billion or reach 100,000 people. How can you have fun with it and show up regularly and sustainably and commit to showing up on that platform and have fun with it? And one of the biggest successes I've ever seen anyone have that I've worked with, I'm going to reference two clients, but one in particular, I worked with her for almost 5 years together, and she grew her accounts to over 1 million across the platforms, probably 1.5 actually. It's been a minute since I counted all her followers, but her whole strategy was, I'm going to play with the new toys. So anytime any platform rolled out some new feature, she immediately adopted it and would use it in her strategy. So whether it was stickers, links in bio, Then it became links, the tap this link, like anything that changed for any platform, she would just adopt it into her strategy immediately and not wait and be on that forefront. And she would get all the juice of that new thing. So that's what caused her to constantly be getting in front of new audiences and grow her audience. And that strategy served her so well because she's not attached to, oh, this is how it's always worked for me. Rather, it's what does the platform want me to do with my content? And I'm going to play with their toys and the way they want me to play. And that again is another shift that if you haven't made it yet, that's what I would recommend. Don't get so bound up in, well, this is, I finally figured it out. Now it's going to work for the rest of existence this same exact way, because that's not what it's going to do for you. And then the second one is one of our clients that we personally have seen in the last few months go crazy results with her content strategy. And it is so simple and so easy and fun. And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to have this conversation, because we're seeing somebody reach their audience in a really powerful, big, huge way in such a simple, fun, silly strategy. Like when you think about it.
Yeah. And her reach has been super impressive, but just as impressive is she turned it into a $50,000 month. So it wasn't just going viral for the fun of going viral. It's a strategy that's actually growing her business, actually making her money.
Yes. And that is what it makes me so like excited to share this strategy with all of you guys and to talk through it. We're going to actually host a workshop on how she does this content and how she's produced it and how it's attracted her clients and how she puts it into action, because a lot of the time is like, okay, I can tell you this and we're going to share her strategy here, but if we verbally say it, it's one thing, but how do I integrate it? How do I make it fast? How do I make it easy? Where do I find it? How do I come up with the ideas? That's the disconnect. I think a lot of times for me is I'll get into the app and I'm like, I got nothing.
What do I do?
And we also want to make sure that whatever strategy you're adopting is leading you to the cash that you want. Because I've seen it and you've seen it, Cait, is people can go viral overnight. And that's great and exciting and adrenaline pumping, but that doesn't necessarily mean they made money or they're going to continue to make money in their business. So if you could find something that is sustainable and cash flows for because you're attracting the right client and creating conversations, then it's going to be game changer. And that is what's going to make the difference for you if you haven't had success on Instagram, is switching up your strategy to make sure it's funneling that way.
Yeah, this is another thing is that like organic growth on the platform right now has really slowed. Like Instagram gave us a glimmer of hope again when they started giving us great reach on Reels, but
Mm.
they've kind of pulled back on that. And that's because they're trying to change how the platform is being used. But this is a strategy that can grow your account super fast. And we were just going to run it with the Empowered for More ladies. This is actually an Empowered for More workshop that we
Mhm.
created just for them. But we've decided to go ahead and open it up to everyone.
Yes, because this is such a simple strategy. And I'm like, this is a no-brainer for everyone to learn. So we want you to get a sneak peek of one, what it's like to be an Empowered for More. If you've been thinking about like, is this program right for me? We want you to get a feel of what it's like to be in the room, but also we don't want to gatekeep this because it's just such a fun, simple strategy that can attract your ideal clients. And that's what it's doing for not just Michelle, but also for other people that we're working with. And I think the reason why, and I wanted to just kind of touch bases on why this strategy is working, is because she's disrupting her audience. She's calling them out with humor, satire, and twisting that, just saying the thing that nobody wants to say out loud. She's saying what they're thinking, and it's catching their attention, and then it's being shared, and then it creates the funnel that she set up from this is that it creates an engagement conversation with them that leads them to an opportunity to actually talk to her and learn more about what she just disrupted. So it's not just enough to post the reel, but to have a whole strategy set up so that you could funnel those leads somewhere. What are you doing with them? Because it's potential you could end up with the same problem Michelle ended up with, which is she's getting literally fire hosed by leads. We were talking the other day, she's like 19,000 comments. So it's a lot to go
What do you do
through.
with 19,000 comments?
Yeah, it's a lot. So then you need systems set up and assistance with the funnels, like all of those things we want to talk to you about what it would look like to have all the pieces plugged in so that you're not just getting in front of your audience, but you're getting them to the point where you have the opportunity to share with them what you're doing and you're nurturing them along the way.
Absolutely. It's going to be probably the best. I don't know. We've done some really great workshops lately, but I think it might be the best one we've ever done. And it's all about a new strategy for 2025. So we want to tell them the price, Lonnie.
Yeah, so we're making it really simple. It's $20.25.
Yep, the
When
price is 2025.
Exactly. And what we're going to do on this call is really show you behind the scenes of how we set up the system, what it looks like to create the reels that are working and going viral. And it's all based off of remixes and disruption. That's what I will tell you. It's based off of those two things. And we don't know if this strategy will work forever and ever, but it's definitely working and it has been working for several months now and it's continuing to drive traffic and it can work for most industries can use this strategies. I would say 99% of the industries that I've brainstormed with, we can apply this strategy.
Yeah. And I'll say this is for Instagram, but any episode with, or any episode, any platform with short form video, this will probably work really well on. So if you're a
Yeah.
TikTok girl, or if you love YouTube and you're doing shorts, like you're going to love this strategy.
Yes, and I can attest to that it is working for other platforms too. So she shares these same reels that she's making from Instagram into Facebook, and it's done well on Facebook too, like also driven her a crap ton of clients and leads. But also one of our clients has already adopted this strategy and she's starting to use it on TikTok and it is attracting her audience as well. So
Nice.
she's getting way more reach there than anywhere else using this strategy. So it's so simple, it's so easy to adopt and integrate. And I can't wait to show you guys behind the scenes. But mostly, I want you just to shift your mindset. If you could take one thing from this podcast episode, I think it would be like, how can you release the pressure of, oh, the algorithm doesn't like me? Stop. That's not a story you want to tell yourself because the more you tell it, the more true it is. And how can you adopt and have fun with what you're showing up with and really bring that strategy to the forefront is let's have fun with it instead of it being oh, I have to be here, a chore or a frustration of I don't think it's going to really work for me. Let's have fun because it only takes like a little bit of tweaking sometimes before the reach just explodes.
Absolutely. And then you have to know what to do with those leads. So come to
Yes.
our workshop. It's less than the price of a pizza, and you're going to get so much value out of it. It's going to be amazing.
Yes. So you can find the link to that in the show notes, or you can go to LaniJackson.com/Instagram remix, and we will have the landing page there for you to sign up for it and get registered. And that's happening on not August.
Ooh,
It's happening April 29th. And if you can't make it live, there will also be a replay. So we want you to have that access to it as much as you need it. But thank you again for joining us. Thank you, Cait, for coming on and talking to me with me about Instagram and all the drama that it brings.
yeah, thanks for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Awesome. We'll talk to you guys soon. See you next week on another episode, and we'll see you at the workshop. Thanks for actually joining us today. I hope it inspired you to actually take the action to step into the empowered CEO that you are and getting more of the results that you want. Before you go, I have a quick favor. Leave us a review and take a screenshot of this episode and share it with your friends and on your favorite social media channels. Don't forget to tag us, the podcast, and Lani J. Jackson. And we'll see you next week on another episode.